you got to have a plan. You can't wing it unless you're going to have a potluck. In that case, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. But if you're going to do it, you got to plan not only the food, but who are you inviting, how classy, that kind of thing. I'm Liz Slater. I am the food editor for the Insider's Guide. And today we're going to talk about New Year's Eve and how you can dress it up or dress it down, what kind of foods you can serve, the different types of food you can serve. First thing I want to talk about is the plan. A good New Year's Eve party needs a plan. Basically, any party does, but especially New Year's Eve. You need to decide whether you want it very classy or down-home good food. You can still have good food if it's classy, but you got to make a couple of alterations if you want to do that. If you're going to have people walking around in sequin tops and that kind of thing, silk blouses, you don't want anything that's really drippy. You don't want anything that takes more than about 2 bites to eat, because then you've got to juggle a fork and all of that. Finger food is the way to go on New Year's Eve. My kind of New Year's Eve is the down-home kind. I'm not a real fan of upscale, hoity-toity, I got to get dressed to go eat. That's just me. I'm nothing against those. But decide what you want to do. A breakfast buffet is the greatest thing on New Year's Eve, because generally you're going to be eating well after midnight. So if you check out the December Insider's Guide this time around, it has a huge breakfast buffet with all kinds of recipes that you can get through the QR codes. And by doing that, it's a serve yourself. Now, that is a knife and fork kind of buffet, but there are still a few things that are finger food items. One of the things that I love the most are a build-your-own taco with pancakes instead of actual taco shells. I don't have any of those, but they are in the Insider's Guide. You can do it savory with eggs and bacon and all that kind of stuff, or the kids, if they're there and they want yogurt and cereal for toppings or fruit, you can go that direction. Pancake tacos are the greatest for a midnight brunch kind of thing. A taco bar is a huge hit. They are made of pulled pork. When I make pulled pork, I don't always smoke mine. I cook a pork butt in the oven from time to time, and when I do, I freeze it in 1 pound packages, because a pork butt always feeds more than one meal for a family. I've also taken that butt and made little sliders out of them. All it needs is the barbecue sauce. The other option for sliders is that leftover turkey that you've got from Christmas. Go ahead and couple that with some cranberry sauce. But the great thing about cheese balls is that you can pack them with most any flavoring that you want. Deviled eggs, they never fail to disappear. That's one thing you will not have to clean up after the party. Cheese balls. Cheese balls are old-fashioned in some eyes, but the great thing about cheese balls is that you can pack them with most any flavoring that you want, but never, if a recipe calls for a cheese ball this big, never make it that big. Cut it in half so that once it starts to look gross from everybody digging into it, you can take that one back to the kitchen, replace it with a fresh one, and reform the dregs of the first one. Puff pastry is your friend. You can put anything in puff pastry. Over here, I've got some ham and cheese roll-ups that I made with puff pastry. Those, I simply rolled out the puff pastry straight out of the bag. Do not roll it bigger. If you see a video of this on YouTube, they're going to tell you to roll that puff pastry out some more. Don't do that. It gets way too thin, and you've got to be a magician to get it to roll up. Put your ham, cheese, sausage and egg, whatever you want on there, and roll it up and slice it just like you do pinwheels, the little pinwheels you sometimes see at a party, in a tortilla wrap. Charcuterie boards are all the rage right now. Charcuterie really means cured meat, so that what we use as a charcuterie board isn't exactly what the original one was, but it doesn't matter because ours tastes better. The four sensations of taste are sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. And then they've added umami, which is nothing but a fancy word for savory. Leave out the bitter because most people aren't a fan of bitter, but try to make sure you have something sweet, something salty, something savory, and something sour. Pickles, olives, grapes are great on it, strawberries, fruit gives you that sweet element, dried fruit. You can also use like a sweet dip if you want to. Don't get too carried away, though, with offering 72 kinds of something on them. Select one or two things from each category and add those in there. The more items you add, the more expensive it's going to be, because you may need a pound of roast beef and a pound of ham and a pound of cheese. But if you start adding 3 more kinds of meat to the back of that, you're going to need to get a pound each of those because you don't know what's going to go first. Olives are great on a charcuterie board. Usually those are the first to go. A sweet hot pickle, we have one that I really like. It's Lafitte Pickles, and they're made in South Arkansas. There's another one that calls itself a sweet hot pickle. I can't remember the name of it. Pickles of any kind usually fly well. And amazingly, hard cheeses like Parmesan and some of those actually go faster if you have a really salty meat. If you have just a roast beef or a turkey or ham, you're probably going to want more cheese in the category of like a medium cheddar or a baby Swiss. But if you're going to have sopressata or pepperoni, salami, that kind of thing, add in some Parmesan cheese, some Parmesan Reggiano, one of those white hard cheeses, even a little mozzarella. And that usually will cover your charcuterie board. Now, the charcuterie board I've brought today does not belong to me. I want to say that first. But a friend of mine got this for Christmas, and it is like the flagship of charcuterie boards. When I set a guest list, the first thing that I do is go through, and if there are people that I don't know well enough to know that they may or may not have food allergies, I ask. A lot of people have problems with gluten. There are crackers available now for people who are gluten intolerant. Most anything that you do, there are options for gluten-free. Please make sure if you have someone with a shellfish allergy that you aren't even serving it that night. Some people are so allergic that if you're serving it and they touch a surface where that shellfish has been, they will get sick. Other people are intolerant of mammalian meat, the alpha-gal thing, and it's a relatively new thing. It's not new, but our awareness of it is. So make sure you have some kind of poultry involved if those people are there. Don't cook with anything with mammalian. Hang on, JW. I'm just floundering here.
You're doing awesome. And it's the end of the day. We're all tired, so I understand.
The other big allergy that you have to watch for is people with alpha-gal syndrome who cannot eat meat from a mammal. That means you can't cook with beef broth, anything like that. Make sure if you have people that really do have serious food allergies that you check with them and talk with them about the things that they can eat. Everybody can party together. We just need to put some safeguards in place. One of the things that I really like and is very popular, and it's something that most everybody can find a way to eat it, is a hummus bar. South Ark, when they first opened the conference center, they used to have a hummus bar at parties that was just to die for. And they had everything from pita bread to fresh vegetables, fruits. that you could use to dip that hummus. So almost anybody would be able to eat that. Now, always make sure if you use gluten-free products, and sometimes it's hard to find tahini to make the hummus that is gluten-free, make sure that you let those people know that it's not in there. Another bar that we've done several bars. One of them was a mashed potato bar. Everybody loves a baked potato bar, but who wants to eat that much food at a party? You won't eat anything else. So we made a big batch of mashed potatoes, which you can do in your crock pot. Check YouTube. And we put them in little bitty dessert cups and had all the fixing: butter, sour cream, cheese, chives, bacon, anything you might want on a baked potato was set up so people could come by, drizzle a little butter on top. We had melted butter, and then start piling the stuff on. It was a huge hit. People had never seen it before. We do tend to come up with different ideas from time to time. Another big hit, if you want to do a dessert type of option, is a s'mores bar. Take a fireproof container, pile rocks in it, dig little holes and put some sterno in there, and then you can have s'mores right inside the house without any problem whatsoever. Our favorite one was when we got the little bitty chocolate bars, so that you put those in there instead of just a plain Hershey's, because then you could have nuts or caramel or whatever else in it.